Yo, what's going on YouTube, and welcome back to another Destiny video, and another weekly reset. The reset has just gone live, and as always, I'm here to tell you what's new, new activities, new Nightfalls, and some recommendations. So first up this week, let's talk about Iron Banner. Deej announced in the most recent weekly update that the Iron Banner will be returning. And what's more, this is finally your chance to get your hands on the Iron Banner helmets. These will now be obtainable from the Iron Banner during this week's activity. And while I do still prefer some of the helmets I'm currently wearing, I do still think this looks pretty cool, so I'm definitely going to try and grab this for my collection. Now do bear in mind that your rank resets every single Iron Banner, so unless you've done the Iron Banner glitch, then you will not be able to carry your rank over, meaning you'll need to work your way up from 0. It's also worth noting that Iron Banner has not dropped with the weekly reset, it will instead be dropping at 10 AM Pacific, which is 6 PM BST. Anyway, the other thing that is worth noting is that if you want to do Iron Banner this time round, due to a navigation bug, it will not be selectable from the main Crucible menu, meaning you can't go over here, and you can't then go to where Iron Banner normally is, which is somewhere around up here or up here. It will not be there this time round. Instead, the only way you'll be able to access it is if you go over to the left and you see up here, this is where special events appear. This is the only place you'll find Iron Banner this week. So just make sure when it drops this evening, if you suddenly go to the Crucible menu and think, where is it, why can't I find it? That is because the only place you can get it is on the left-hand nav. Anyway, with that being said, that is enough for Iron Banner. So it runs from today up until next week's Tuesday weekly reset, so you have a week to get everything you want. Now let's talk weekly activities. The strike in question this week is, unfortunately, everybody's favourite, the Will of Crota, meaning we're going back to Earth to face off against our good old friend Omnigul. The Heroic this week carries the Solar Burn modifier, meaning grab those solar weapons and go to work. As for the Nightfall, well, I think Bungie are probably being sympathetic of the fact that nobody really likes the Will of Crota strike, so they've given us a triple burn. Arc Burn, Void Burn, and Solar Burn, which means when planning your loadout, simply get a spread of all three, and you'll be pretty set to deal with all encounters. Speaking of which, let's quickly go over some weapon recommendations, and I'll run you through what I'm going to be using this week. So, starting off in my primary weapon slot, I'm going to roll with Fatebringer this week, simply because the very first room, you will encounter a lot of enemies with arc shields, namely the captains, plus the Firefly perk is going to make light work of those large groups of enemies. Be especially careful of those stealth vandals, they can make nasty work of you in the first room, but beyond that you should be alright. Moving forward, your other main targets will obviously be wizards, which carry solar shields, and for that I'm going to use my Icebreaker. All jokes aside, despite it being one of my favourite weapons, I like using this through the majority of most strikes before I get to bosses, simply because of the regenerating ammo, so I don't have to worry too much about collecting other ammo, but this will see me through till I get to the end. I will, however, switch to Black Hammer once I get to the final boss, simply because if I can get in that small room, then I can get a clear line of sight on Omnigul, and I should be able to get in some nice clean shots. Both of those weapons carry the solar element, which means I'll be taking advantage of the solar burn. And then lastly, my heavy of choice for the most part will be the Song of Iyut, simply because when I'm fighting Omnigul, she has an arc overshield, meaning I can use this to take it down, and then I can use it to pile in some nasty damage. Now if I did want to go for the rainbow setup, I could just throw in the Word of Crota and then I've got Void, Solar and Arc, but to be honest, so long as I have a weapon that's taking advantage of one of those three burns, then I'm generally in a good place. Either way, the general consensus is, when you have a week like this, just take anything, make sure you're carrying an element. Kinetic weapons are not going to be taking advantage of these, so use whatever elemental weapons you have, and then you should be fine. For the most part. Omnigul is a bit of a pain. But anyway, that, my friends, is it for the weekly reset. That is everything you need to know about this week's weekly activities in Destiny. Make sure you stay tuned to the channel tomorrow and for the coming weeks, because tomorrow is the very first day that I can show you some footage from my House of Wolves trip, and tomorrow I'll be showing you the Trials of Osiris. That will be dropping at 7 PM BST, 11 AM Pacific. So stay tuned for that one, but otherwise, thank you very much for watching, take it easy, catch you next time, peace out.